brand new edition of Kick-Ons. Hope you enjoyed the footy, and this is the perfect destination post the footy with the number one voice in the football. And also, Cadell Evans joins us in his yellow jersey as well. Josh Jenkins, wonderful to see you, Kano.
What a start. Happy Easter to you both. Magnificent, and what a huge round of football we've got coming up, Cadell.
Indeed, loving Easter this year. The kids have gone home to the farm, so I'm by myself, which is just, there's nothing better, Richard. Just a little bit of just me time.
Absolutely perfect. Congratulations on Gather Round. How have you recovered, both of you?
No, I've recovered well, and I've recovered even better if I got on your feed with Richo's roughies, because I know you're humble and you don't want to tell us about
this. This is a footy show.
67 into a $20. So this is amazing, and your feed followers skyrocketing, and so they should.
Yeah, there was a lot of that one, wasn't I? I've learned from you. I've kept my receipts, if you don't mind. And listen, can I blow a bit of wind up your skirt too, if you don't mind? Not yours, Cadell. We'll get to you in a moment.
Oh, hello.
Have a look at this.
Hello.
Have a look at this. Has lobbed in another
night special.
A little $20 winner lobs in.
How many copies? 10?
Only 10.
Well, you know what? They need to have a bit more faith. Yeah. So follow us on the feed, because at the moment, Cadell is leading.
Well,
you had double me.
I did get one. I got a racing little winner up as well, but obviously no time to show that graphic.
No, we certainly don't. Follow us on Kick-Ons though, please. Let's launch into Good Friday. This should be a beauty.
Well, it should be, and I hope that it is, but I don't have a whole lot of confidence in both of these two sides. So North last win on Good Friday was 2018 versus the Saints, and they'd want to start performing better in this game, which they've tried to make their own, but I'm not sure they should have a monopoly on this game if they continue to perform like this.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. It's probably the third time I reckon I'm going to go into a North Melbourne game hoping and maybe with a sense of expectation that they should win the game. Dogs,
they are over the odds at $3.
I agree, but I've seen them play their last two games live, and they've both been incredibly disappointing. 2 weeks ago against Sydney, terrible, absolutely woeful, and this is the issue. This is the absolute issue. They cannot stop anyone. They
can't
are
defend.
A bunch of turnstiles, Richo.
So
off you go, through you go on defence.
And this has been the issue for too long under Alistair Clarkson. That's why I've been really critical of him and asking the question, does he still have it? Does Clarko still have it? Yes, he's got 4, and we know what a legend he is of the game, but at some point, like a player, you get to a point and you don't have it anymore. And I'm starting to question that about Alistair Clarkson.
Can I just say, the reason why I agree that the blame or the issues lie with the coaching is, in the way I view the game, offence or attack is players' skills and natural flair and the way you play the game. You can't really teach attack. You can put some parameters in place, but for the most part, it's players having their natural instinct playing the game. Defensively, that's system, that's scheme, that's coaching, and they can't defend. So that has to land on the coaches.
From a Carlton point of view, everyone would have been thrilled to see Sam Walsh perform so well, albeit against West Coast. But what I love most, he looked like he was back to his, fit best. He looked like he was running freer.
And where he's winning his disposals, I think. Like, Sam Walsh can get 30 for fun, we know that, but it's the location of where he's getting his disposals that he should be judged on. So, I mean, he kicked the 3 and had a stack of it, yes, against West Coast, but he's building into the season nicely. And whilst he started a little bit slowly with his impact, he did have the serious hammy in the pre-season. So judge him on how many touches he gets in the forward half of the ground and how many of those lead to scores, and that was a great sign.
I'm going to take him on. There's his line, 28.5. I'm going to take him on. I'm going to go the under, because North Melbourne, I know you've got fancy iPads, but paper still works too.
Sure.
Second worst opponent of all the 18 or the 17 opponents he comes up against, North Melbourne, only averages 24 disposals against the Roos. What? And he also averages under that 28.5 at Marvel. So under, thank you.
Did you sense a little bit of jealousy there?
I do sense the jealousy of our iPads, if you don't mind. You've also put on the agenda that CCs, the Charlies.
It's the battle of the CCs, a chip that you and I would... well, no, maybe not you, maybe me. You two definitely don't eat that sort of stuff. Combin versus Curnow. So don't worry about the scoreboard. If you're watching from home or if you're at the ground, the scoreboard is irrelevant. I think the winner of this game will be determined by goals from Curnow versus intercept possessions from Charlie Combin. He's the one who can stand in front of Curnow and prevent them from kicking a winning score.
And if you're liking Charlie, you do like him at that, under the roof, on that deck. And Comben is there to intercept. He's not necessarily there to be a blanket on Charlie Curnow. So he could go large. No Harry, of course, with that injury. So that's a pretty good bet.
14 from his past 3 against the Kangas.
Yep.
He's kicked more goals at Marvel than any other ground in the AFL. So Charlie Curnow loves Marvel Stadium, but he needs to be stopped by Charlie Comben in that intercepting mould.
Well, he's getting fitter and fitter every week. That's the key to him. From a Carlton point of view, what about TDK? Where are we at? Do they really need to zero in on getting him signed quickly?
Well, not at 1.7. I'd let him walk for that figure. So
what's the figure for you?
Well, $1 million, I think, for a ruckman.
Jeez, we're going to leave 700 a year on the table.
And if he can get that, he should go. Now, unfortunate if he does, but the problem with the Blues is they've paid everyone. Wiedering, Walsh, Cripps, all of them. Williams is still getting ridiculous money, so maybe they just can't afford him. $1 million for a ruckman is the limit. You're not paying a ruckman any more than $1 million.
I agree with that, and history tells us that. History is telling us premiership teams are littered with recycled, unheralded ruckman. But he feels like a bit of a difference maker for them.
Correct.
They look better when he's playing really, really well. So my question would be, now, I know it's a little bit topical and a little bit sensitive. Would you think about moving a Harry Mackay if there was a taker? There are clubs all over the place screaming out for a key forward. Melbourne, would they take him? There's an ability to move $900,000 off the books. That I would look down that path before I would look to just hand in Tom
If you're
DeConey.
asking me who do I want, TDK or Mackay, I'm taking TDK. I think he's more important for the way that he plays. And yes, there would be a club that would tip into Harry, but he's got to be willing to leave as well. He's got the contract. He might be happy at the Blues.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they've signed him and they need to be accountable for that.
It's hard to get good players too, so you don't want to see them leave. Easter Monday, of course, the eyes of the world will be on the Store Gift, and then after that, they'll be concentrating on Geelong versus Hawthorn, which will be awesome.
Definitely. And the Hawks, just a little bit of a wake-up call for them. Not a bad result, I don't think. They've been up for a long period of time. So there's the head-to-head. Really hard to pick this. Geelong were just awesome with what they did in the second half against Adelaide. And the Hawks have got some questions to answer after Sunday night.
Yeah, they do. I give them a mulligan. I think everyone deserves a mulligan. I was very surprised. It felt like in the lead-in that Hawthorn were going to be the ones on the back of the final with what they perceived Ken did. I thought Hawthorn would have been the ones revved up, but it was Port who were absolutely wound up. So credit to Ken Hinkley for winding them up. But yeah, I'd expect the Hawks. I like the Hawks at $2. I think that's a fantastic price. I don't think they'll be that price when the game or when the ball bounces. So I'll be getting involved there. Mulligan for me. I just think James Sicily, this is a game where he needs to play forward. I thought he went forward because of emergency last week. I think he should start forward in this game. He hasn't started a game forward this year. I think he needs to go forward. He is unbelievable one-on-one, James Sicily.
Yeah, and his ability to finish. So I think that they've probably been a little bit too cute with him and Hardwick and Weddle. So it'd be good to just settle the side down. And Power Pepper went and targeted Sicily. Yeah. You remove that, I guess, if he starts forward, and that angst about is he going to be tagged. But 2+ if you're willing
you got to listen to all the pre-game. You got to watch where he warms up. Get to the game and watch where he's warming up. It worked with Connor Rosier. There are a few sharp minds saw that he was warming up with the backs.
Yeah.
So listen to all the pre-game stuff and just get an assessment if you think Sicily's going to go and play forward, because you don't want to take that price if he's going to play a quarter in the forward line. Then that's foolish. So you want to know he's going to spend plenty of time there.
And what about Danger? He's got this new opportunity for him as a forward. I think it's elite. He looks so comfortable. He's so strong. He's great overhead. If he can nail his kicking, I reckon he's a 60-goal forward.
It was as inspiring a performance as I've seen. So he did cash in late when the game was on the line, but before that, and his numbers weren't huge, but the impact he had defensively was just extraordinary. So him and Jezza came to play. What an awesome sight it was. I think they're going to have to look after him throughout the year. Not this week because they're going to have a long break before Monday, but they're going to need to rest him, make sure his body is primed for when September comes. 2 or more goals, $1.76. Going to spend a lot of time for it.
Yeah, I must admit, I didn't think he still had this level of game-changing dominance in him. I knew he could be impactful. I didn't think he could be the reason or the sole reason almost that Geelong would win a game. I thought he could still be helpful, but he's starting to pick up the roles and the systems and the structure of playing in a forward line. So when he used to go forward, and I played a lot with him, it was basically send him to full forward, everyone else clear out, and just let him be one-on-one. Now he's starting to understand where to move, where to run, how do I make others better as well, and that's a scary proposition.
Is he in your power forward rankings?
Not yet.
Does it justify being a power
Not
forward?
yet.
This is what happened last week. Now, the question is, did you nail it last week?
Well, the answer is yes.
So the big truck there, Josh Tracy at 2.
Yeah, so that's last week.
That's last week.
Couple of crows in there.
Yeah, a couple of your mates in there.
This is this week. Now just sit back. Don't try and fire off early. Even though I've never met Riley Thilthorpe, so I'm not sure how you can be considered a mate.
Your mate.
The big kahuna kicks 6.
Number
so he
1.
goes to number 1. Sam Darcy, I watched the second half live. Harris Andrews did a great job on him. He did kick inaccurately. Well, you can only kick 6 against whoever they're putting in front of you. Big Ben King, 6 disposals, 5 goals. He goes in. So a couple of changes there. And Darcy Fogarty's, I think, second in the Coleman. So he's got to go in. But this man, he is the 3rd rated key forward in the game. He's the best all-around key forward in the game. And have a look at the big man. Just have a look at him. It's just a picture.
You know what he needs? He needs some help as well. Like, Jai Amos has been bitterly disappointing. He's not on notice, but he should be on notice.
He's past that.
Yeah, he's past that. He needs to maybe go back to the waffle. But if he can come with him, with where we thought he would be at the pre-season stage, Amos, and his development, which is far in advance of where it is on field, he needs some help.
I'm one of the 14.1 thousand followers of your feed, and I did see you put Big Josh up for the Coleman.
Yes.
What was that, about a month ago?
Yeah,
You've secured around, $13 there?
He's into about $6.
Unfortunately, 7 punters out of the 14,000 have come with you.
Well,
at the
again,
moment.
as you referenced earlier, that's their problem.
Correct. They need to lift, if you don't mind. Now, you've just mentioned a Fremantle passenger. There's a few there, and you've also just mentioned Amos.
Yeah, well, he's just not getting the footy enough. He's just simply not getting in the footy enough. I posed a question to our friends at Champion Data, and Jai Amos ranks, and these are players, so without being subbed out. So I wanted to remove
this for a stat? Least disposals without
players
being
who get
subbed.
injured or get head knocks early in the game because it's unfair on them. But Jai Amos ranks really, really lowly when it comes to disposals per game without being subbed out. So Zane Cordy, we understand he often plays as a defensive forward. His job is not to get the ball. A couple of really young players there in Rioli and Reedy, and Shannon Neal's making his way. But
got to
Amos,
lift Shannon Neal as well.
He does need to lift, absolutely agree. But Amos now, he kicked 40 goals in his first full season of footy. He hasn't taken the next step.
You couldn't touch that. You could not touch $1.94 for 2 plus.
He had 2 touches.
They're playing Melbourne.
I know, but still. They played Richmond on the weekend. He had 2 touches.
Every player we put on the radar, they do
I
fight.
think we've put him on the radar a couple of times.
And he kicked a goal.
He responded. But look, to kick 2 or more goals, he's going to need to get maybe more than 2 touches because that's just not getting it done. We're not asking him to be a world beater. He just needs to be able to support Josh Tracy.
And there's our little reminder for our feed. Your photo does not do you justice.
Thank you. I've been saying that for 18 months.
Cheeks and my head, I look like a
big
thumb with eyes.
Big off-season here.
That's my face.
No, you're looking outstanding.
I agree.
Hey, let's get the shot clock up because topics to go. Can we start with Essendon? Can we see a little charge from the Bombers?
I wouldn't think. Let's not get too excited. They beat a team who don't know how to score or aren't sure that the game revolves around putting the ball through the big
forget
sticks.
Essendon.
So, no for me.
They're performing to the level that they should be. So, to expectation, maybe slightly above. The win against Port Adelaide was terrific, albeit an average game of football. And then the Melbourne win is good, but I think they're about 8 to 10 wins for the year, and that would be a good result.
Trade, Stephen May is straight away on the radar.
Everyone's talking about trading Oliver or Petrarca because their names came up last year. I would be looking to move Stephen May because I think you'll get overs.
Really?
I think you'll get overs.
33?
Yep. I think a team would jump out of the ground and identify him. I'd have to give it some thought, but I think a team who needs a key defender, if you're a key defender away from competing for a premiership, you'll give up a second-round pick for him. No
I
doubt.
wonder if a team like Adelaide, who I think are 1 key defender short, and they are in the window or should be in the window, coach is under pressure to get that finals performance and win. Maybe that is a fit. They also had a crack at Harrison Petty, the Crows,
We've done the
years
deal
ago. So Would Adelaide give up a second rounder for Stephen May? If they did, Melbourne should jump at it.
That's still 0 on that shot clock
Sorry,
there. Dogs v Saints, elimination final early.
Yes.
What?
Yes. Loser misses the finals. Loser misses the finals. Yep.
We're
And the
round
Saints,
6.
the Saints won't play finals anyway, but if they lost this...
Well, they're eliminated then.
Against a team that is in the similar spot to them.
Ross is a fan
on
of the
ladder.
show. That'll disappoint him.
Ross is doing a good job, but loser can't play finals.
No, I don't think it's an elimination final. It's only round 6.
Yeah.
Just calm the farm on that. But I agree, the Saints probably won't make the finals, but they might be the team that jumps up a little bit more than we all thought.
And what about Dimmo? Now that he's got a different team, do you think he enjoys Marvel, the fast track of Marvel, compared to when he was with Richmond?
Mate, we hate going there. We hate going there. Well, I think he's changed his tune a little bit, but Gold Coast have done a pretty good job at winning on the road, which they were a disastrous outfit whenever they had to put the white shorts on last year.
Yep.
So they're a different unit. They're playing unbelievable football, and they'll be right there at the end.
I did see his sons, albeit last year, play against St Kilda. I think it was 52-48. Worst game I've ever seen. Yeah. So he'll be still hating it if they get beaten.
Different team now.
I agree.
This is a really tough choice. So you can only pick one. Matt Rowell or Noah Anderson?
Anderson. Everyone's in love with Rowell. I think Anderson is the one who has the runaway ability. Rowell's improved in that area, but Anderson's been doing that for a while. Captaincy suits him. Yeah. Give me Noah. Everyone's talking Rowell for the Brownlow. I'll take Noah. He's on the feed as well.
So in terms of a 1-2 punch in the midfield, they're number one at the moment of any team, like with what they're doing. But Matt Rowell, look at those numbers, and he's a different unit than what he's been for the first 4 years or 5 years of his career. Score involvements, 10. Prior to that, he was about 4 per game. And the outside footy that he's winning as well, and the metres gained, the clearances have always been there, the tackles have always been there. But I think I'd go with Rowell at the moment.
Except for clearances, Noah's got him covered in all those stats.
Oh, gosh. Hey, yeah, for Gold Coast, you're just thrilled to have both of them and try to secure them.
Well, you try and sign him up.
Long term is going to be the key.
I mean, he's a 1.2, 1.3 midfielder.
It ain't getting it done.
What do you mean?
What?
It will.
The market's changed.
That makes him a top 10 highest paid player in the game.
I think I've lost control. The shot clock's gone. Stay with us. You're watching Kick-Ons. Crows versus Giants going to be an absolute beauty, especially now that Toby Green's back to his best form.
My man, Toby. I think a lot
How do you get him as your man above us two? He's our man.
Because I claimed him first.
He's all of our men.
What he is a terribly difficult matchup for anyone who tries to play on him, because he's attended the 5th most centre bounces for the Giants. So there are the numbers. So he's at centre bounce almost as much as the midfielders, but he's also the 4th most targeted player inside 50. So how do you match up on him? You need someone who can go and play with him at centre bounce, or you trust the Adelaide midfielders to get it done, and then you've got to track him when he goes forward and gets dangerous.
Michael Laney's the matchup for him. He's a very, very good young player. Won't go to centre bounce with him, but we'll pick him up after, and we'll see how quickly he can find that matchup when he does reset forward. But he played with power. He had his power back and his speed and his burst. So what a bonus when you look at their small forwards they've already got. Hogan is on fire. Chuck in Toby at the best of his ability, All-Australian captain a few years ago. Look out.
And footy smarts.
Yeah.
God, he's elite in that area. You've put Jordan Dawson on notice.
Yeah, I thought he was really disappointing on Thursday night, and I'm not often critical of Jordan Dawson. In fact, he's one of my favourites. I thought his ball use had let him down and not impacting the way that he was at the start of the year against some of the lesser teams. So against good opposition, Adelaide need a scout. There's no doubt about that. We're not counting St Kilda. We're not counting North. We're not counting Essendon. They need a big scout. And this man is central to that. 25 plus, 172. He needs a big game.
I don't think he gets coached very well. Well, I think they asked too much.
What do you mean?
I think they asked too much of him. So too often I see him standing shoulder to shoulder with the opposition's best midfielder. Get someone else to do that. Anyone else can do that. Get Peatling to do that. Right. He needs to be focused on winning the footy, using the footy, distributing, setting the game up for his teammates. He's too often, I think he's having to spend some of his energy worrying about the oppo's best mid.
Now, Richo, you've been keeping receipts on your winning bets on the feed.
Yes.
I'm keeping receipts on Adelaide's tall forwards, who everyone laughed at me.
Here we go.
Everyone mocked me when I said you can't play all 4 of them or 3 of them because it makes it hard to defend. Well, what do you know? 9th in the AFL for defending D50 to forward 50 transition. And what do you think's going to happen when you've got 3 of the most immobile forwards in football? This is what is going to happen. You are too easy to play against. The lack of forward 50
that was Neil
tackles.
Bullen who got stepped.
The second half, they just could not defend, and that is a result of their key forwards who can't run, getting up the ground and not joining in defensively. So whilst all three of them individually are going very well, when you put that into the collective defensive aspects of the whole of the team, Matthew Nicks has got some issues, and he's starting to realise that. He spoke as much after the game.
So what do you do?
Well,
Who do you take
great
out?
point. Thank you.
Who do you take
I
out?
reckon they'll rest Tex this week. That's what I reckon.
You okay with that?
No, they've just dropped 2 in a row and they're playing the Giants.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the week to be resting
I think they'll
anyone.
rest him. He'd come back from Gold Coast into Thursday night where he didn't touch the footy in the second half into I think he needs a rest, and they've said they're going to rest him throughout the year. So, yeah, don't worry about the selected teams. There could be a late sort of out with
a small
my
forward
man
who's
Tex.
fast, who can put some defensive pressure.
And then what does that look like will be
Yeah.
interesting with Fogarty and Thilthorpe as the main targets.
Well, they'll have to find a couple of goals. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who won't be resting. It's our man, Khan Kane. Have a listen to the great man on one of his various different platforms throughout last week.
You know, I think we had an extra training session at Richmond where with West Coast, obviously, the travel comes in where you have a day which is a travel day. Probably when we do have the sessions, we're touching the footies enough, but it's just and really executing, the fundamentals. Even if it is a low-touch session, it's like, all right, boys, we're not going to be going quick here, but let's make sure we hit every handball, hit every kick.
Here's a thought. Don't worry about the travel day. Get on the training track.
Now, Kane, I'm not sure if you're aware, they don't get to play every game at home. They actually have to travel.
What? So you travel for 24 hours in a day, do you?
Have you travelled from Perth to Melbourne before?
Yeah, and you can have
So
a
it's
run beforehand or a run after
flight.
it.
Yep.
It's a 5-hour flight. You lose 2 hours.
But then you get the 3 hours back
Correct.
because of the time difference.
Well, no
Get
good
to the
training on the way
hotel,
home.
Have a shower, freshen up, head to the MCG and do some touch and some kick and some
Thank you.
training. Like,
Says
you
the
don't
man who-
travel for 24 hours.
Says the
You-
man who sat on a plane for 45
You
minutes.
only do it every second week, by the way.
Unbelievable.
Don't you? You don't travel every week.
Yeah, that's right. Sure,
Can't
you
say.
can have a
He's
little
trying to
light
take me
run
on,
or something.
And he's just failed again miserably.
And then, sorry for the language, Jack Graham dropping
Yeah,
F-bombs
no
in the
good.
ABC.
No good.
Would not happen under our watch here on Kick-Ons. Stay with us. A lot to come. Newspaper has landed.
Yes, how hangry, which means hungry and angry.
I love it.
Yes, are the Hawks. They need to be. Long time to stew over that. They'll get it done against the Cats.
Pretty good from you. Seen the movie Gone Baby Gone?
No.
Oh, it's a good one. Ben Affleck. Gone, goody, gone. Lose this one, it is all over, I think, for some.
As in next week?
Not
Or
next week, but I think
So negative.
they will make the decision on the back of a
Truth
loss.
hurts,
that,
Jason.
The end is coming for Goody.
A positive. Rowell replaces Dacos
Oh, poor
as
Nick.
Brownlow favourite. From $8 into $6, Rowell will be after yet another dominant performance.
Noah's
You'd already
got
have
more
9 votes, I think, at the moment.
Noah's got 10.
Now, we look at our footy trip fund, and
How's it
at the
going?
moment we no longer can afford to go to Chadstone. So times are tough, so I need to get involved. And I am having Nick Watson on Easter Monday. I've spoken to Jane Bunn, and there will be 8 millimetres of rain. The ball will be on the ground, and that will suit the Wizard, who will bounce back after a poor performance last week. He'll kick 2.
The Wiz needs a response. I like that from you.
Thank
I
you.
like it. Yeah, it's not bad. Hopefully, can get the job done. Our multi.
Yes, please.
Ben King, 3+ goals. Nice and safe from me.
Nice and safe. I tried to find us some value. Sam Durham playing against West Coast. All their midfielders rack him up against West Coast. He is due for his first ever 30 disposal game. My man,
Wow,
Sam Durham.
PB.
$4.40. I'm going Sydney head-to-head up against your mighty Port Adelaide. We found your kryptonite, though. The multi's your kryptonite. We need you to lift, Captain.
I'm not the stretched face again.
Get his puffy cheeks. Follow us on the feed. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed the footy. Hope your team wins on the weekend. See you soon.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.